What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Got breaking news. A lot of people was reporting on this for the last couple of days. Places saying this fight is a done deal. Now it's official. As the A side came out and announced this fight, I didn't want to believe it because the B side was talking about the fight was a done deal, and I didn't want to just go off of what the B side said. As we know, Mikey Garcia was saying he had a fight lined up with Manny Pacquiao, and Pacquiao ended up lining up a fight with Errol Spence Jr. Spence Jr. has an eye injury, and Yordenis Ugas steps in as his replacement, and they fight. So I don't like to go off of what the B side said, but the A side, Gervonta Tank Davis, 2-division world champion, the cash cow of the divisions 140 pounds and below divisions. He is the cash cow. If you want to make your highest payday and you fighting at 140 pounds and 135 pounds, Gervonta Tank Davis is a fight you need to be seeking. You know, when you talk about pay-per-view attractions over the history of boxing at 140 pounds or below, very, very rare. Very, very rare when you see that happening in the sport of boxing. You know, you're talking about Arturo Gatti. He was a pay-per-view star. You know, you talk about Floyd Mayweather, and he had to beat Arturo Gatti to become a pay-per-view star. That's about probably it, man, 140 pounds below. You know, you had the guys like Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales. When they fought, they were pay-per-view fights. Barrera fought Juan Mil Marquez. That was a pay-per-view fight. But those guys had to fight each other. You know, when Barrera fought Manny Pacquiao, that fight was on HBO. That fight was in San Antonio. So those guys had to fight each other where they know they were going to be able to get the Latino fan base. I'm talking about fighters that can fight anybody and it'd be a pay-per-view fight. That was Floyd Mayweather Jr. after he defeated Arturo Gatti. That was Arturo Gatti for a short period of time. And now that we're looking at Gervonta Tank Davis. Well, it doesn't matter who he fights, it's a pay-per-view fight. This is going to be his third consecutive pay-per-view fight. He's going to take on the gregarious, the showman, the trash talker, the guy that calls Gervonta Tank Davis a dwarf, Rolando Romero. As you know, he gonna talk his shit. He already talking shit. Before he even had the fight official, he was talking shit about Gervonta Tank Davis. Basically saying Davis ain't what people crack him up to be. He's not as good as people are leading you on to believe that he is. He's not that dude as far as Rolando Romero go. Everybody underrating my skills. They saying I can't really fight. They saying my boxing IQ is suspect. You know, they saying all that, but at the end of the day, all I do is win, 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 and he's undefeated. But he ain't fought nobody. He's fought absolutely nobody. Look at his resume: 14-0, 12 KOs. But you look at who he fought, man. Like his first 4 fights, his opponent, 3 of the 4 opponents had losing records, and the second opponent he fought after his debut fight didn't even was their debut. So I think his first 3 fights, the combined record was like 1-6. So he's fought a lot of no-hopers in his throughout his career. His first C-level fighter was actually his last fight, Anthony Legit. That was on the undercard of the Jamel Charlo Brian Castano fight. I watched that fight, and it was Rolly's best performance, man, because his previous fight, I just thought he was just too damn slow, man. I was like, this dude is slow as molasses. This dude is slow as a broke-legged turtle. He's real slow. Telegraphing his shots. It's just a matter of time. He can know with some people that knows how to, that's got fast hands and can exploit that. He's just telegraphing his shot and it's not coming. It's one thing if you telegraphing your shots, but you ain't got no speed behind your shot too. How you getting them shots off? But he's so awkward. He's able to get those shots off, and he's got so much determination. He's got so much grit that it's carried him a long way, and it's got him in the biggest fight of his career, as a guy that was never even a main event fighter up to this point. Now he's going to be involved in a main event pay-per-view fight as a B-side. He's never been a main event fighter before this fight that is going to happen with him and Davis on December 5th. Now, December 5th is a interesting date, y'all. Check the calendar. That's on a Sunday. Smart move by Leonard Ellerby and Floyd Mayweather Jr. to put that fight on December 5th, because if they would have tried to put that fight on December 4th, which would have been a Saturday night, which most pay-per-views are on Saturday night, that would have been catastrophic. Would have been bad move, because it would have been going up against college football. And one of the biggest days in college football is they have their conference championship games on that day. That's what killed Fury Wilder 3 when they were trying to get that fight off in December. They couldn't put it on because of Fox and ESPN was like, "No, you can't put it on that day, man. This is this is like the #1 date as far as the college football calendar goes." We got our conference championship games. Now on December 4th, you're gonna have the SEC championship game, which, if everything goes according to plan, will feature #1 Alabama Roll Tide going against #2 Georgia, which will be the latest game of the century. You know, that's going to be the de facto national championship because whoever wins that will be the prohibitive favorite in a college football playoff. So that's going to be a big game. Then you got the Big 12 have their conference championship game. You're going to have the Big 10 having their conference championship games. All those games will be taking place on December 4th. So it was a good move to push that fight to December 5th. Well, the only thing they're going to be going against is possibly NFL Sunday Night Football. I think they'll be going up against that, but I think that's a little bit better than going against one of the biggest days in college football, man. I think that'll be the best thing for them to go. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. And I'm not 100% sure they're going to have a Sunday Night Football. That's going to be toward the end of the NFL season, you know, where they start having some Saturday games and stuff like that. So maybe they don't have a Sunday night game. I tend to believe they will have a Sunday night game, but I think it's still a better date to put it on that date. And by the time the fight does come off, that Sunday Night Football game will be over. Because that game starts at 7. It'll be over with around by 10. You put Davis and Romero in the ring around 10:15 to 10:30, and they'll have all the exposure to themselves, man, to hopefully do good numbers in the pay-per-view department. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But this fight is about a guy that's highly intellectual fighter, and Gervonta Tank Davis has one of the highest boxing IQs. I put him only fighter I can rate above him as far as boxing IQ is Terrence Bud Crawford. He's on that level, man. Very skilled fighter, very defensively responsible. Has one hit or quit of power. Got power in both hands. Good jab, southpaw, good straight left. A guy that can dig to the body. And then when you get to dropping your guard down to protect your body, then he can hit you with headshots that will send you to the moon. That being Gervonta Tank Davis going against Rolando Romero, a guy that's, in my opinion, with limited skills, but not limited desire. Has a lot of grit, a lot of determination. I think his right hand is his best punch, but he can hurt you with the left hand too, as he's throwing overhand lefts, right hand. I think he head hunts a little bit too much. Only time he seems to go to the body is when he's at distance. He'll jab to the body a little bit, but I think he needs to try to bogart Gervonta Tank Davis and get him up against the ropes and work the body and try to make this a dog fight. Try to rough up Gervonta Tank Davis. Try to get borderline dirty with Gervonta Tank Davis. Try to get Gervonta Tank Davis out of his game. Try to get Gervonta Tank Davis out of his element. Try to get Gervonta Tank Davis pissed off and looking to try to hit him with a shot to get him up out of there and maybe make a mistake and you catch him with a shot, because he definitely does have power in both hands. It's just that his skill set is not on the level of Gervonta Tank Davis, and neither is his resume on the level of Gervonta Tank Davis. As Davis has fought Leo Santa Cruz, Mario Barrios. He's been in there with Jose Pedraza. These guys I'm mentioning right now are all champions, have been champions. So he's fought multiple champions. And he's beat another guys that I have to believe a real solid fighter that people maybe not recognize, that people like Ricardo Nunez. He went over there to the UK and beat Liam Walsh. He's beat some solid names. Hugo Ruiz. He knocked him out, man. Hit him with a shot on the side of his head, man. Had his whole left side of his face was bleeding. Like he had cracked his cranium or something, man. Hit him so hard. The referee, when Ruiz got up, the referee looked at him and started trying to count. Ruiz walked off from the referee like, I don't know why you counting. I don't want no more of this. You need to stop this fight. And they stopped the fight. But that's the type of power he has, man. So, you know the trash talking is going to be epic from Rolando Romero. He will draw Gervonta Tank Davis in as he will respond to the trash talking. He's already kind of responded on his Twitter page, you know, saying this is what you want, this is what you're going to get. Be careful what you wish for, Roll, is basically what Gervonta Tank Davis has insinuated through his comments on his Twitter page. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. I like Gervonta Tank Davis to get this fight done and stopped around the middle part of this fight, about around 8. I'm looking for a stoppage. I don't think he'll get him out of there early. I think he'll kind of be cautious early on. He'll be just trying to touch Rolly early on, try to break down Rolly early on because he don't want to get caught with anything early on by Rolly. I think Rolly will be at his most dangerous in probably the first 4 to 5 rounds. But I think as the fight progresses and he's still taking those shots from Gervonta Tank Davis, he's slowly breaking them down to the body and to the head. I think that's when he'll put his foot on the gas and pump up the volume on Rolando Romero and get him up out of there in the 8th round. Let me know your thoughts, who you like in this particular matchup. That's just my thumbnail sketch on who I think gonna win this fight. I'll break the fight down more in depth as we get to the week of the fight, but that's my early thoughts on the matchup between Gervonta and Rolando. Let me know your thoughts, who you like in this fight, and do you think I hit the nail on the button when I told you the skill set is like night and day when you talk about Gervonta's skill stuff and his technical aspect of his boxing game compared to the awkward and really basic style of Rolly Romero. Like I said, man, this guy, he telegraphs his punches, number one. Then they're coming from a slow. It's not coming at a speed that I think it needs to be coming at. When you telegraph, even if you're going to telegraph your shots, at least have speed behind it. If the guy sees it's coming, but it's coming so fast, he still can't get out the way. But he telegraphs his shots, and to me, he's just very slow. You know, when getting his punches off, very slow. You're trying to get from point A to point B, very slow. I don't think it's up to par, man, to even catch Gervonta Tank Davis. But it's coming from awkward angles, though, so maybe early on he'll have some success. But once Gervonta get a bead on the shots and how they're coming at him, he'll make the proper adjustment. And I think he'll slowly start to break down Rolly and ultimately, again, stop him in the 8th round. Let me know your thoughts and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.